Hey guys, I've been planning this video for a while. I want to show you step by step of how I send off through the mail autographs. The process of looking up the guy to the supplies you need, and some tips and little tricks that I've learned over the last, I don't know, 9-10 months or whatever I've been doing it. And I'm also going to be prepping the surface of a newer card. So that way, if someone has a Sharpie, it'll stick and won't smudge. It won't, get all messed up in the mail or when he puts it back into some sort of sleeve. And how to mail things just in general, as far as what stamps are best used and that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and just start off with, I'm going to send off to John Outlaw. Mr. Outlaw, football player back in the 70s. This is who I want to send to. So let's go to Sports Forum or Sports Card Forum. Is this too bright? I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm using my old phone because my is that good? Okay, it's a little okay. So I'm going to go to on Sports Card Forum. I'm going to go to TTM Manager, and I'm going to type in Outlaw. That's what I just did earlier. I'm going to type it right there and search, and it brings up John Outlaw. And what you do, you just kind of look up and see when what address was the last successful one. Like this one it looks like it's an old one. The last success was from 2021, but this one looks good. We got Collier, Tennessee, and he just had one middle of December. So what next I do, I kind of look up. It's like some guys only sign one card, some guys charge. There's usually, it'll say in like the little margins here. Looks like he signs 2, 3, something like that. And, very good success rate. I don't know why it's getting all blurry every time I do that. But since it's football, sportscollectors.net usually has better updated addresses for football. I've realized it's $15 a year, which is great. I mean, it's especially if you're going to send to football. I think this is going to be it's definitely needed. So looks like he, that's a correct address, and he signs 4 pretty consistently. So I wouldn't send 6. Looks like this guy sent 6 and he didn't get me back. So let's go ahead and select the cards. Now I have 75, a 73, a 76, right? Yeah, and a 78. Is that right? Okay. So 3 or 4 would work. I would guess. I'm just gonna send 4 just to, in case he wants to keep one, he can. But so these are the 4 I'm selecting. Still pretty pliable, so it won't be stuck in any sort of mail sorting machines at USPS. If you think, by the way, this is a card saver. This is what I send them in. It's not like a top loader, which is like this. I mean, once you got cards in there, they're very hard to bend. Once you have, especially if you had 4 cards in here, it'd just be a brick. But these you're able to move these around. They're not going to get stuck into any sort of sorting machines. But if you send more than 4, if you send 5, I think 5 is kind of the max you can send with whenever you send with a card saver, and it'll be under 1 ounce. So you need one of these non-machinable stamps if you send anything more than, sometimes even 4 I'll do it, but especially more than 4, I would say 5, I would use a non-machinable stamp. Or if you have newer cards, like these Prism cards, these are very, very thick. There's only 2 in here, and I'm still going to use the non-machinable stamps there and back. I think these are it's $1.12 each. It's around there. So they're a little more expensive than a regular stamp, but it's well worth it. Make sure you get yours back and will be upcharged. and that sort of thing if you're going to use going to send thicker stuff through the mail. I've been using Humongous Hoard card savers. They're pretty cheap. You can usually get around 200 of them for like $20. So I like they're very good quality. I've sent some out through the mail multiple times, and I haven't got any back that are just ripped up here like some of the BCWs I've had in the past. So just, that's a little hint there, or a little tip. So what I use, this is kind of what I stack a lot of my TTMs when I'm preparing to use. This is from like an old NASCAR, I don't know, like I think it was like a NASCAR Max box. That's the bottom of it, and that's what I've been using. What the stuff that I use, these are number 10 envelopes. That's the bigger ones that you want to use to send there. And then the number 6 envelopes is what I use for the self-addressed the return envelope. So the number 6 and number 10, they work perfectly. But a little tip here as well, you want to get the peel and stick. It doesn't so much matter on the way there, but definitely on the way back, because some people do little questionnaires to guys who sign, and one of the number one pet peeves or whatever is licking stamps. So this way they won't have to. Chances are you'll maybe, any small little thing you can do to maybe make the lives of whoever is signing for you easier or better, or it'll improve the chances of you getting it back, is worth it. Especially, these are maybe $1 more per 100 or whatever. So, just peel and stick envelopes. I do it for the big envelopes too, because I don't like to. I don't want to mess around with licking stamps either. So, and I use the index cards to write the letters to the guys. I don't really write too much more than just the front of the envelope, just the front here. Sometimes I'll, if I'm a little wordy, I'll add some more in the back. But for the most part, I just stick to the front. Another tip is don't do a form letter. I know people have success doing them. You can probably get more RAW. It doesn't take as much time. But, one of the things that I think is Chris Cards, he sends questions out sometimes, and that's one of the other things that I've seen them come back with is don't send a form letter, So be more personable. It'll take a little longer, but one thing I like about doing TTMs is I learn a lot about these players. Full disclosure, I was born in 1980. I never watched this man play football. It was before my time. But what I do, I like to go and research these players, find out something interesting about them. Sometimes especially if it's a baseball player, I dig deep. And sometimes if I'm writing some guy who maybe only had a half a season in the majors, I go back to the minor leagues and talk about the Portland Beavers, whatever, and try to find some interesting stuff to write them about. And, most of the time I'll have a success doing that, especially some of the guys that are older, that played in the 60s, that enjoy doing TTM. So this is really, all right. So you need the cards, you need your letter. This will be a letter. Sometimes I'll add multiples of these if I only send one card, just to bulk up this a little bit. It'll give it just a little bit more protection, especially if the guy doesn't put the card back in and keeps this. It happens. So I'll put, you have to finish the address, by the way. I'll do that later. So put this in here. And I'll finish that too. And that, you're good to go here. But something I like about Sports Card Forum is it starting to, all right. What I'll do is I'll add a submission here, and you can track your submissions, which I think is awesome. So this will be mailed on Thursday the 2nd, and I'll have 4. And I'll put down, I put a 74, what's that, 73 or 74? I blanked here. I think that's a 73. It might be 74. That's a 74. So 74, 75, 76, and 78 is what I'm going to send. Someone's probably watching this and it's like, that's a 74. Whenever I said 73 earlier. I do 74, 75. This phone is loud. No wonder I changed. It's a I haven't used this phone in over a year, but it was better than trying to use my laptop doing this, because this is a standing desk and it has decent coverage on top, but it's not the deepest as far as putting a bunch of stuff on here. So self-addressed stamp envelope, and then I'll add it, and it'll be in this right here. So right here. So whenever you'll get it, you'll click on, the little pencil here, and you'll log your return in. And I take little pictures whenever I receive mine back. And yeah, that's really all I use. I mean, it's pretty simple. I know, as soon as you get the address and you have all these supplies, but you don't need that many. But another thing, I already have one kind of lying around because of my eBay stuff I do. I have a little postage scale, so that's something that you might want to pick up just in case if you send something a little heavier. But let's go ahead and prep a newer card. Look at this. super it's got baby powder all over it, because I was doing some earlier. All right, we got 2 Lexus King cards here from Prism. Trying to get, there we go. All right, what I do is I sprinkle a little baby powder on them. Not too much, just enough where you can spread it around the surface. YouTube, this is baby powder. And I take my finger and I kind of just kind of coat the card a little bit. It builds up the surface. I think it also kind of dries the surface. So that way, if they use a Sharpie, it'll stick on there. I know some of these wrestlers, they tend to use paint pens and that sort of thing, I've noticed. I didn't put as much on this one. But I found this is the safest way for the cards. It's less harsh. I've seen some people use like pencil erasers, and they go across and they kind of build it up that way, which I don't know. I don't think that's super great for the card. I could be wrong, but all right. So once it's in there, I kind of just tap it like this. I'm gonna shake the crap out of this. Here, let me move this up. And it kind of falls off a little bit. There's still some on there, but I'll take care of that. Kind of just knock the excess off. See, there's still plenty on there. But what I do, you can take a chamois, that's what this is, or microfiber cloth, and you just kind of rub it off a little bit. You don't want to do it a lot. You want to still kind of see some on there little, but you also don't want to mail something that has white powder. So it's a little bit of you want enough on there that it's going to do the job, but you also don't want to do something that is going to look questionable whenever the player receives it in the mail. Like, this is pretty good. There's still a little bit on there. He's not going to sign the corners of the card anyway, so yeah, this is what I suggest. It's got a little bit of a grit to it, a little bit. And let's go ahead, and this is a silver. You could see it better on the silver, you know, what that's on there. Let's go ahead, and this can be kind of a messy job here. There we go. So you can still see it's on there a little. Maybe you can hear it. Hold on. It's not smooth. That's what you want. So when he signs this, if he does, I don't know, but it's going to stick. It's not going to mess up anywhere. I've had really great success sending to the NXT Performance Center and getting autographs, and they coming back fantastic condition. They're not smeared. They're not anything. And, you know, some of these newer cards, it's kind of difficult. I would suggest doing this to every card that's made after maybe 94. Whenever they start putting the coating on it, is it 93? But that's what I suggest. Because there's been some that are like mid 90s that I didn't prep and I got back, and they're a little bit, just a little smushed. But look how much, oh, did you see that? There was a big puff of baby powder. I was cleaning a bunch of cards earlier. That needs to go in the washing machine. So yeah, that's everything that you need to know to do TTM through the mail. If you have any questions, please comment down below. You know, I can answer any for you. I think this will give you a good start. I've learned a lot of tips for watching people like Chris Cards. The 10th inning cards. Is that it? 10th. He's someone that's pretty local in Fort Wayne. So that's another guy I've learned a lot from. There's a few other, I mean, I watch a lot of TTM and like card opening channels and that sort of thing, but yeah. So that's everything you need to know for a TTM autograph to get started. I hope you've learned something. I've tried to pass along all the information I've learned since, I think it was March 24 when I started doing this. So, all right. We'll be back Sunday for the weekly TTM autograph haul, and hope everyone had a great New Year's, and I will see you Sunday.